Boys want to know there is a boundary because as a male myself, I will push and push and push until I find that boundary.
That's the voice of this week's guest, Dr. Ray Boyd. Dr. Boyd is an award-winning educator, school principal, leadership specialist, and a former international distance runner. With over 38 years of experience in public education, he currently serves as the foundation principal of Dayton Primary School in Western Australia. Previously, he led a successful school turnaround at West Beachboro Primary School. In this conversation, Ray reflects on the confidence leaders show on the outside and vulnerability they often keep hidden, and why consistency, clear boundaries, and genuine care are essential when supporting young people. In today's episode, we talk about 1, why children need consistent boundaries and expectations to feel safe. 2, how overprotection may prevent young people from learning through risk, mistakes, and real-life experiences. And 3, why educators must remain hopeful, dependable, and committed even when the work feels exhausting. I hope you're ready for this conversation from down under. Take out your notes, and let's start the show. As a male educator at your school site, it can get lonely. Only 23% of K-12 educators in America are male. And just think about what this gender gap means for your male students. They experience disproportionate levels of discipline. This is a show for male educators who want to feel more understood by their community and want to create emotionally safe classrooms and schools for the next generation of male students. Welcome to unMASKing with Male Educators. Ray Boyd, it is so great to have you on this conversation. Welcome to unMASKing with Male Educators.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be on board, Ashanti. I was actually chuffed to get the email.
Well, it's been such a great connection with friends and new friends in Australia, and we're both on the west coast of our respective countries, or you're on the continent, I'm on a country, the west coast. So will you introduce yourself and tell folks who you are, what you want them to know about you before we jump into these masks?
Yeah, well, I'll keep my mask on and just share a little bit then, shall I? Look, I'm an educator in Western Australia. I've been a teacher since 1988 when I graduated from what was then called the College of Advanced Education. And in Western Australia, that eventually became Edith Cowan University, so it was a merge of universities. I took on my first teaching position in a PSP school, which is a priority primary school in Perth, and that just means it's a low SEI, so that they get a little bit of additional funding, or they did back then when that's what they were called. I did 2 years in the country. So obviously in Western Australia, the country could be anywhere from an hour and a half out of Perth to 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 hours out of Perth by car. So it's obviously we are a really big place. Like you guys would fit into America fits easily into Western Australia in terms of space. So it's, although we don't go through multiple languages, it's the same. I took on my first deputy job in about, I think it was 1996. I did a deputy's gig, enjoyed it, and then pursued leadership. Got into my first full-time permanent deputy job in 2001 at a school called Ellenbrook, which is back in the city. And then led my own school in 2004. Rather sadly, I got the position to close the school down. So it was an amalgamation of other schools and we had to shut that one down. And then here I am now in 2026 at Dayton Primary School, where I opened the school. Prior to that, I was at West Beachboro Primary School, where we what's deemed a turnaround school. So I was there for 16 years with some really amazing people. And I opened this school up in 2023. So we are now in our 4th year of operation at Dayton.
All right, congratulations.
So that's my teaching career in a nutshell. And I was a bit of an athlete in my younger days, and I still run and enjoy it, and that's how I let off a bit of steam. But outside that, education's where I'm at.
First of all, thank you for being here. Thanks for that introduction. When you said the part about Australia, America can fit in Australia, I think that stood out to me because the map wouldn't indicate that. The map that we typically see here. in America, right? The map that we see shows Australia at the bottom, like not as large of a landmass as it is.
Yeah, exactly. I was
Yeah.
actually we were talking about this with my deputy or my associate principal yesterday because one of our education assistants was working with some kids, and she said, "Oh, the tallest mountain on Earth is Mount Everest." I said, "That's actually not true. There's a really big mountain out in the ocean, so that's the
Mm,
biggest landmass." And then I said, "Just so you know," and I can't. There is a name for the map you're talking about, the map we look at of the world. I said,
yeah.
we're actually a really big country, a state too. If you get most of the countries of the world, they fit into Western Australia. So it's
Wow.
a really interesting globe, isn't it? Because it looks and it's perfect with what we're talking about. Because there's another example of a mask. We see this thing, and it's not actually a true representation of where we actually live.
Yeah. And there was interesting story that just came up. It was on social media. A man was at a World Cup match. He was talking to a woman who was from somewhere in South America,
Yeah,
and he was like, "Oh, I'm from America." He was from the U.S. and she was like, "You mean the United States, right?" And he was like, "No, I'm from America." He's like, "Well, you're from the continent of America." And so this conversation they had back, and he's like, "What? What are you talking about?" Like like the imagination of like, "Oh, we have in where I live, and we've like when I go to South America only has 6 continents. Here
yeah,
in the United States, we call it 7 because we call it North America and South America as separate continents, but it's connected and it's one continent, right?" And so
yep.
when people are like, and he was like, "What are you talking about?" She was like, "I think you have it mistaken," right? And it was a moment of his own like just not knowing, and also his bewilderment that, oh, you are using the language of I don't know how we want to call ourselves, what we have believed to be the elites of all, right? We are America, as opposed to this is the United States of this continent of America, and
Yeah.
that is Canada, and that is Mexico, right? It was really interesting, right? And I imagine as education finds itself under the finger of people who want to um, create lack of learning for lack of a better term, or maybe not
Yeah.
lack of learning, who want to create a very specialized type of learning.
Yeah.
We only want you to know certain information. Keep you not knowing real information, especially with these devices now, right?
Oh,
We have a we can hide a whole bunch of stuff in plain sight.
the boogeyman's in your back pocket, Ashanti. Hey?
I love that phrase. The boogeyman's in your back pocket. That should be a T-shirt. That should be a
Yeah.
T-shirt.
It's
Yeah.
actually a really interesting book.
What's a
It's a
book?
book. Yeah, it's about warning parents that we worry about danger stranger, and most of your kids have got this boogeyman in your back pocket.
Okay, I gotta check it out. I've not
Yeah.
heard of it yet. Okay.
But yeah, what you're saying, I mean, people talk of Australia, everyone goes, "Oh, Sydney." It's like, No, not Sydney." Like, I don't look out my window and there's Sydney. I get in my car and I drive for 3 days. If I'm lucky, I might then be in Sydney.
Man, the vast land mass.
Yeah. The world is
Yeah,
a big place, and many countries are very big within that place. But anyway,
man. Well, thank you for that. That's great because that's part of education, right? It's part of
that's
education of like what we have been told, what we perceive, what we've learned, what we know.
yeah.
And I think the world of knowing is very different today than it used to be, right? The world of
Oh, very much so. And that point you made earlier about education, and we let people. There's a conversation I had with a friend a long time ago, and we're talking about back in the knights and medieval and kings and queens. Education was restricted to the wealthy.
yeah.
The poor weren't educated, and it was a way of keeping them suppressed and or
Mm,
oppressed. And yeah, so the fact now across the world, in most countries in the world, education is free and it's open to
mm.
everyone. Been a massive step in mankind in the sense that we now try and share education with everyone, not just the elite.
Ooh, okay, we're already fully into this conversation, and imagine another leg that we can come back to is, and now with this, we have people who are not educated, pretending to be educated, but because they have the gift of gab, they have people paying them to just spew ridiculousness.
Oh, and now you've got AI, which makes some ridiculousness ness actually start to sound a little bit sensible.
Oh my gosh.
They're the
Oh,
boogeyman's at work, Ashanti.
oh, in your back pocket, right? Oh man. And for many young people, it never makes it to the back pocket because they're in their hands all the time, right?
I know.
It never makes it. It's just like always in their hands, right? So you're like, and then it's giving them everything they want. They're like, no, this is not bad. I feel so good when I'm on this thing.
Yeah. The next level of the next evolution of the human race will have these huge bulges in the center of our head from where we've walked into things because we're looking at our phones.
Or falling down some stairs because we're trying to like
So
say,
dunk.
oh man, oh man, oh man. Well, hopefully the medical care will take care of us. We hope, right? Well, look, first of all, I'm enjoying this conversation already. This is already happening. So, the mask is our opportunity just to kind of go take a little deeper dive. So, as a guest, you decide who goes first. Either you want me to go first with the mask, or you want to go first with the mask. It's your choice.
Oh, look, I've listened to a few of your podcasts, so you know what? You can go first. Everyone seems to default to that. Go on, you go first.
Oh man, well, hey, I will love it. Hey, I'm ready either way. This one I don't know what I drew today, but I drew something, and I have one word on the front that is really present today, and I was like, what other words am I showing today? But I'm gonna show the word. So it's a hexagon. One, two, three, four, five. I'm sorry. Yeah, hexagon. I was like, do I know my shapes today? And I wrote caring on the front, and I'm caring and passionate and dedicated and trying to like make a difference in the world. But I think it all roots in caring. And I think when I was a teacher, when I was an educator, I got my reviews at the end of the year, and students would be like, "He's mean. He be yelling at us." And I think I have a loud voice, right? So I don't have to yell. I just project, and it projects very deeply and resonantly and vibrationally. But I'm usually not yelling. I think if I was yelling, I think I was like, look, I never yell. I have not yelled ever. I don't need to yell. I just say, "Hey, sit down." That's not yelling. That's me just demanding my voice to put some different volume in there, you know? But it's all about caring. It's like I want you to take advantage of education. I want you to have a beneficial opportunity. And so caring is at the root, and today I've been really just like as I think about sometimes when I ignore my intuition to care too much. Okay, you're caring too much right now, Ashanti. What does that mean? Well, it's not being reciprocated, so you must be doing too much on your end. And I think that's what's being rooted today in the
Yep.
front and in the back. These are the ones that sometimes I don't talk about as much, but I'm working on worry. I put like what's next because, and I put legacy. So I think the
Mhm.
one that's standing out with what's next is I think as a nonprofit leader of an organization, you know, you're always supposed to have a plan and vision for where it's going next. And sometimes I'm like, do I know where I'm going next? Do I know what I want? Have I given myself permission to want? I think when I left my engineering career to become a teacher, I kind of like, well, I'm not going to make a lot of money. I put so many things off the table that were originally my mission critical focus that I oftentimes have taken my eyes off of what next. You know, how do I retire? I've not planned that well. I'm not. I've not created a nest egg for that to happen. I don't want to be working at Walmart at 70 years old. You know what I'm saying? And so I feel like we need to be doing better planning, right? I don't want to be on a burden on anyone else. And so I think there's some things that are coming into that, and that's connected to legacy. Like,
Yeah.
I don't have children, but I've done this work for so long that when people give good feedback, they're like, "No, but you helped so many people," and I agree with that. But on the family tree, after my name, it stops sometimes, not all the times, but sometimes I really feel deeply that I made that choice. So that's it. That's the
Yeah.
mask.
Okay, you've gone from engineering to teaching, where you actually give up a big chunk of your life when you become a teacher.
Yeah.
There's a part of I think you give up a piece of your soul almost, and your family. We're fortunate. My wife and I, we got two boys, so obviously, as a teacher, you get to have holidays when your kids have holidays. But the
Nice.
downside of that is the boys knew that for those 10 weeks, 11 weeks while we're at, we did nothing else. And do not bother us in week 8 of term 2 because we are doing reports. And if you so much as squeak, you are dead. It's all education is all consuming.
Yeah.
You can't turn the key off of the truck and just get out and go home.
Yeah.
It's one of those jobs. There's always something to do. So
That's right.
I think it's a very unselfish profession in many ways.
Yeah.
And you pretty much articulated that.
Thank you. Well, that's the math. That's mine. That's my mask. Now,
Well,
Absolutely.
mine's a little more complicated in many regards. I mean, that's mine there all over the shop. So you
look at
split it
that.
in two. So I've written up here Batman Two-Face because that's essentially what we
Ooh,
are.
yeah.
And everyone has that, not just in education too. I think everyone wears the two. That's what I love about the title of your show. Everyone actually carries two masks. The ones we see when they're in the room with us, and the one we don't see when they're sitting around the campfire having a quiet beer or working in the shed. So,
Yeah.
look, the one I think as a leader and certainly as a father, the one that the side of the mask that we do see, or I believe I portray, one is confidence. I think, and particularly as a male, I think being confident is very important. You don't want people to see as a leader that you're second guessing yourself. And you watch the movies and you read a lot of books on leadership, and often they say you need to be decisive, even if you're wrong. Just be decisive because people want an answer.
Yeah.
And I actually remember, Ashanti, once my wife was outside. Do you know what an angle is?
Like that you even do construction with?
No, Engel, Engel.
Oh no.
Okay, nor did I. Okay, an Engel is actually a little portable fridge, so it's like a fridge you put in your car.
Okay.
And my wife said to me, "How much is an Engel?" And this is that bit about confidence, because when you're a leader, people just want to hear an answer. And I said, "I think it's about that much." And you have got no idea what an angle is. And with blazing confidence, you have told me it's that much. It's a fridge, you muppet. Oh, okay. Oh, there you go. You know, I've learned something today. So that confidence, leaders you just have to give an answer. But in that time, I got caught out because obviously she knew what an angle was, and I didn't at the time. So, but there you go. So I can tell you an angle's not that much. An angle might be.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Well, I learned a new word today. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I think sitting on the back of that, if we go to the back of the mask and the head, is there's that what I don't like people to see, or I don't share often, is vulnerability. I don't like, and I don't mean vulnerable in the sense where a leader gets up and says, "I've made a mistake," and you step in your own. I mean more emotional openness. And sitting right alongside that is notion of sensitivity. I don't like sharing that. I don't know why, but I don't. Whether that's because I'm an 80s kid. I was born in 1966, so that was my father was, obviously he's, when was he, 44 or somewhere around that. So that's that hard man, don't cry, suck it up, stand up, all that sort of stuff. So that's where I grew up in, and I don't like to share that. I think I only ever saw my dad cry once, and it wasn't in public. It was I caught him, and he said at that time, it's all right to cry. There's nothing wrong with crying. I just don't do it in public.
Wow.
And then we come back to the side. You see, dependability is another big quality that I like. If I say I'm going to do something, I like people to know it's going to get done. And I think that sits alongside honourability. You say you're going to do something, you get it finished, you do it, so people build that trust with you, and that persistence is another one that I think I like to share and people see. And that persistence comes from my former life as an athlete, as an endurance athlete. Just let's get things done. And I have heard my staff and even my wife, she calls it doggedness, but there's a bit more of an edge to that than when you say, "Oh, he's a persistent." No, he's just dogged.
Real.
But again, on the flip side of that is that I don't like people to see the cautiousness. I come across as very confident, but quietly I've been sitting in the background by myself thinking things through. I'll run plans through, and I think as a teacher you'd appreciate that, even though it feels like that you've just made a spontaneous decision, there is so much pinging around in your head before you make that call because you don't want it to go wrong. You've already run. Again, I jump around. It's my ADH brain. Sorry about this.
Oh, it's good.
I go to parties and I'm moving glasses away from the edge of tables and things. As a teacher, you're a professional party planner. Like, you'd walk into a room and go, "What could go wrong in here? What could possibly go wrong?"
Oh,
You just
man.
plan for the worst. They go, "Oh, you seem very organized." No, my brain has been going at 350 miles an hour from the moment I entered this space and saw there were 4 kids in here.
Oh, man. Oh, man. No. Hey, I'm resonating with that. Yes. And I also do the same thing on an airplane. When I'm on an airplane, I'm like, how don't you, what are you doing? Why is the bag not turned on the side? And I'm, mind your business. Shanti, mind your business. Why are you worried about everybody else and their luggage? Just stay right here. Pull out your phone and get distracted. Right?
That's like when the hostess says, "Oh, get in this position." I say to my wife or my mate if I'm trying, "What's the point of that? If we hit a mountain at 30,000 kilometers an hour, who cares if my knees are near my ears? I'm going through the front of this seat."
Oh, man. Oh, man. The teacher in all of us, the educator in all of us.
But the flip side of that, Ashanti, is as a father with 2 boys, I want them to explore and sort of take risks and learn that you can. But when I'm working with other people's kids, it's like, can you get down off that? Can you put that knife down? Maybe don't jump off that. Bend your knees when you land.
That's beautiful. I mean, but that's beautiful that you can separate them, right? That you can, the protection mode over there, but here I want you to explore. I want you to feel, I need you to scrape your elbows a little bit because I need you to know that you can get through it, or whatever the lessons that you want them to impart. That risk is a part of us learning, and we're going to bump our head sometimes,
But that juxtapositioning where you sort of, I'm doing this, I'm thinking my little year ones would be going 6, 7, but that juxtapositioning, there's times where I just want to say to kids, if you poke him, of course he's going to hit you.
Yeah.
And I'd say to my boys, if he hits you, that's on you because he's told you twice to leave him alone. And then you're in a school setting and you go, he's going to thump him. Oh, he hit me. What do you expect? You've been poking him in the back for the last half hour. I'm surprised he didn't thump you 4 minutes ago. It's so hard.
Oh, man.
Like, you spoke to my son with a harsh... No, I just told him a fact of life. I told him if he does that, he's going to get thumped.
Yeah. And that right there, the work that we have to do with parents to support them around their own stuff.
Yep.
When their memory of what it was like to be a kid pops up and begins to project on their kids, right?
Yeah.
And then the mode of, I'm going to protect them from ever experiencing anything I've ever experienced.
It is so bizarre that the world I see, and look, my boys, they're sort of caught between 2 worlds. I live up in the hills, which is about 25 minutes from where I work, and we're on 5 acres. Okay. So our boys grew up in space. But when I grew up too, we were on a 1/4 acre in a suburb, so it was fairly large. Yeah. Most suburb spaces now are 380 square meters.
Wow.
They are tiny. And I come from a split family, so a single dad for a big chunk of my life. So my dad was like, make sure you get home before the street lights came on. That was the rule. That was it.
Yeah.
No, none of this. Like, where are you? As long as you're home before those lights came out, you didn't get a hiding.
Yeah.
It was that simple. And now it's like, where are you? What are you doing? It's like, seriously.
Yeah.
I think we've gone... I just think we've gone too far the other way. I get we've got to be protective and look after our kids, but they're just not learning to live. They're not learning to take risks. And what was the book I was reading? I think it's about kids being anxious, The Anxious World or something like that.
The Anxious Generation by Jonathan Haidt.
Yeah, and there is also another one, Why Our Kids is something or other. It's a lady. She's a journalist and she... anyway, it's neither here nor there. But we talk about anxiety. Do you mind me asking how old you are?
Yeah, 52.
Okay, so we're of a similar ilk.
Yeah.
anxiety is just part of life. It's like if I'm walking into a room, I'm anxious a little bit because I don't know what I'm coming into. Now we're like, oh, he's anxious. Yeah, just so get over it. Walk in. Oh, you're killing me. Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
We are so powder packing our kids that they just don't know how to experience life.
Mm.
And like you say, this is where you learn. But I'd go home and I'd play with my mates, and I wouldn't have a clue what my other classmates did until we met the next day to say, oh, we built cubbies and we were doing this. Now it's like, oh, I'm trying to build a cubby, but I'm seeing that Susan and Mark are having fun on a swing, and so I'm disappointed because my cubby's not that much fun.
Yeah.
I think we've sucked the joy out of childhood. Absolutely
Yeah.
sucked it out of childhood. And the same token, potentially sucked the joy out of being a parent.
Ooh. And imagine that device, right? Like, just like you talked about, your dad said, don't come back before the lights are on. So therefore, there was no way for him to even check on you if he wanted to. It was
No,
just he had to trust that you had either a nickel or a dime or whatever in your pocket to call on a payphone or whatever the situation was, or you'll figure it out how to get back here. You got away. You gonna
yeah.
figure out how to get back. Right? I
That's
mean,
right. You got up the tree, you get down the tree.
yeah. I don't have a dot knowing exactly where you are. Like, why are you on that street? You shouldn't be on that street. You're like, what's happening here, right? That imagine the layers of all of that causes not only more stress for kids, is because I don't have any freedom of thought of just being, right? And like the bike, where the bike goes as far as the little bots on the thing on my phone, my mom's phone tells her, oh, I'm too far away from home. And some people, as you talked about, who lives in these smaller areas, I mean, I know some neighbor kids who don't get to go anywhere. They literally go from gate to gate, gate to
Yep.
gate. It's like 12 feet. It's like 12 feet that way, 12 feet that way. And they're just bouncing around in circles. You like, I can imagine that freedom just feeling so trapped.
Yeah.
So trapped. And maybe some would say, well, it's a crazy world out there. Yes, it has been. It was always a crazy world out there, right? The amount of crazy things I saw as a teenager growing up that was like, ooh, right? But I'm like, yeah, we're not talking about that one at dinner time, but we going, you know what I'm saying? But we had the experience. We like, okay, we survived it, and now we made it back home, and
Yep.
now we'll talk about it tomorrow at school, right?
And even as a kid, sharing stuff, and I'm I could have gone out with Stewie Bishop and we've played, and he nearly got taken by a dog, and we both fell off our bikes and grazed our knees, and a bus missed us, and we had to run for the police. And then we'd be sitting at dinner, and Dad would say, "How was your day?" We go, "Yeah, it was all right." I'm not telling you what we did. Yeah, no, it was okay. How's Stuart? Yeah, Stewie's good, Dad. He's good. Stewie's got his arm all munted up because the dog chewed
Oh
him. It's like
man. Oh man.
no one knew. You just did it. We knew bus routes. Most of the kids we remembered 38 phone numbers. I still remember most of my phone numbers. It's like
Mm.
it is seriously. It's a different world. My dad wasn't interested. Well, he was in what was happening at school, but
Yeah.
unless he reached out, the teacher wasn't on the phone every day. It is so different.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that just because I've got this Alzheimer's thoughts in my head. It was such a different time.
That's
It
right.
was, and
That's right.
it's just gone. I think again, I've said we've gone way too far now. Kids have lost that freedom to explore and be kids, and schools cop that because there needs to be more play.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want play, but you're saying that because you want the kids to play in a school setting with a fence, as
Yeah.
opposed to out the road. We had a parent here. I let kids climb trees at
Nice.
school. I don't care. If you fall
Yeah.
out of the tree, well, you learn to hold on pretty quickly. But a father said, "Oh, you should stop the kids climbing trees because his child fell." It's like no, if they can't learn to hold on, don't climb the tree. That particular
Mm.
kid climbs trees beautifully now because they've learned if you don't hold on, you're going to fall out and it's going to hurt. So we
Mm.
learn from pain is a really good teacher.
Oh boy. For real. For real.
And a lot of leadership, everything you say, you learn more from your mistakes than you do from your successes. And it is so true as a kid. Kids learn pretty quickly that, oh, if I do that, I'm potentially going to get hurt.
That's right. As an elementary teacher, as an elementary administrator, like where are And I love that. I mean, my elementary school, the last one I went to through grades 4, 5, and 6, was a lot of green area, and there was a lot of
Yep.
trees, and people would be, play on the upper level, the lower level, just a lot of like a little bit of a little bit of greenery out there.
Yep.
Now, when I was in the city, there was no greenery; it was just concrete, asphalt everywhere. But in elementary, I remember myself being a pretty bad student. Like I was in trouble a lot.
Yep.
And I was considered in a gate. I got accepted in a gate class, a gifted and talented
Hmm.
education. They had this track that once a week you got pulled to the library to talk about some bigger topics, and it was fun and it was interesting, right? But I was always on the playground. I'm fighting all the time
Yep.
because of the rules of what it means to be a real man in my community, a real boy, but I'm supposed to be a man at 7,
Yep.
so all the rules that get into the way. And there was no cell phones,
Hmm.
right? The first heartbreak I had was a girl called me on three-way. I didn't even know that there was a bunch of other people on the phone pretending like she liked me, and then I get to school, and then I get embarrassed in front of everybody, like I said, it's real life. It's not like a device. It's not. It's a real life embarrassment of like, whoa, whoa, what's happening here? Like, what? My,
Yep.
my world was shifted upside down just last night, thinking this very popular, beautiful girl liked me, and now she's making fun of me in the line. What just happened here, right?
Yep.
And how do you navigate that? And I think young men who don't get a lot of human interactions miss out on some of it's not I'm not excited that happened, but it was a real life experience. Like, oh, it taught me a lot. It taught me about some trust stuff. It actually um, got in the way of some trust stuff
Yeah.
because I'm like, oh,
Yep.
I still got some old recordings of that thing happening, right? But how do we help young people today, the younger ones, because in that early childhood, they're developing in so many ways, Um, how do we help them? How do we help them navigate the world that they're growing up into? I mean, it's not their fault these things were created, but
No.
but now they have to navigate the world in a new way to not get sucked in so deeply. How are you working? How is that? How are you seeing that? And I know Australia just came up with some new laws around social media, if I remember right.
Yeah, we have, and the UK, I heard on the news last night that the UK's followed a similar line. So kids under the age of 16 can't have various social media, Facebook, Instagram. There's a few others, TikTok, those sort of things would be banned.
Okay.
However, the flip side of that is you got to police it. It's great to bring a rule or a law in, but we've got a law over here, a classic example. You're supposed to ride push bike with a helmet. Now I see kids riding around without it, and now I'm not going to say you put a helmet. I might make a joke. Good to see you haven't got your skid lid on. Hope your face stops the. But it's not my job to. So it's a rule. It's
Yeah.
one of those. Do you drive a car? I assume.
Yeah.
Every now and then I speed. There's a law there, but I'm thinking, I'm in a hurry. It's unlikely I'm going to see a copper on this. I'm just going to put my foot down a little bit. If something's not policed, it doesn't, What's that?
Yeah.
That's that one we say. We often say to kids, it's what you do when you're not being watched that's important. That's
Yeah.
what defines you as a person, how you behave when there's no one around.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but coming back to that original question, I think certainly from a leader and an educator's perspective, and again with my own boys,
Yeah.
we set clear boundaries.
Yeah.
Here are the rules for operating in this space. Example here, I don't mind if kids play with sticks and stones, but
Mm.
you can't use a stick to hit someone on the head with. So you can play with the stick, but it's not a weapon. Yes, it's a lightsaber, but you can't try and cut him in half with it. All right. So we set clear boundaries. I think children, and I see it, and I'm not trying to be derogatory of parents out there, but I see parents say, if you do that again, this will happen. And then the kid does it again. Or
Yeah.
if you do that again, this will. It's like, you're just saying the same thing.
Yeah.
If you've got a boundary in place, so we try to be really consistent. One of the things I say with my teachers here is, if that's the rule today, that's
Yeah.
the rule tomorrow.
Yeah.
Just the kids need consistency, because as soon as we remove that consistency,
Yeah.
we create the unknown again. It's like, okay, so yesterday when I did this, I got in trouble. The day before, we got away with it. So what I'm learning here is every day is just a roll of the dice. I'm in the casino
Mm.
every day. And for kids, particularly for kids that are vulnerable, they might
Yeah.
come from disadvantaged families, they
Yeah.
go home and they roll the dice every day. They don't want to come to school and have to roll the dice again. They
Yeah.
want to come to school. And my previous school, Ashanti, was in a low SEI area. We said when the kids cross the threshold into out, they know that what happened yesterday is the same that happens today in terms of the rules. So they're stepping into that area of consistency around expectations, and they know there are rules in place, but we will support you to try and reach those expectations.
Yeah.
And I think that's how we do that. We create boundaries and then we support the kids in trying to reach. There's still consequences.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
again, you need to know if you step over the line, because you and I, we go into the real world. If we did some of the things I think you may have been involved in, and I certainly did when I was a kid,
Yeah.
you're not going to get away with that in the big adult world.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you learn pretty quick that rules, once you step out of kidhood, it's in the real world, and life is really hard. You poke a dog, it will bite you.
Yeah. And maybe even just thinking about what we're seeing in middle, like elementary school, the younger ages, and as they're growing. Do you have young people that come back? Have you had enough young people that have come back and said, "Man, I'm glad you held me to these kind of understanding and standards or expectations because it's helped me along the way." They probably didn't like it when it was happening, but maybe they felt the benefit of it later
Oh,
down the line.
look, not in so many words, but
Yeah.
yes, I've met a few kids along the way who've come. That we always have kids come back. So in Western Australia now, when a child leaves primary school in year 6, so they're 12 years old, and they go into high school year 7, we've had kids, generally the 7s, come back because they want to come back and connect. But I've had kids come back in later years as a group. Oh yeah, Dr. Boyd or Mr. Boyd, or they come and visit again, or you bump them in. Oh yeah, you did this. And my wife, for example, she's an art specialist, and so she taught this kid, would have been 15, 20 years ago,
Okay.
and she got an email from this kid to go, "Oh, you were the best art teacher, and because of you, I've become an art teacher." It's that sort of stuff that's just, you can't measure it. So I keep coming back to my boys, but my youngest boy, Gabriel, since he could talk, he wanted to be an architect. Now, his grandfather's was an architectural draftsman. He wants to be an architect. His whole life, he got to 16 in year 11, and he bumped into a biology teacher,
Yeah.
and the boys in his class would have killed for this lady.
Okay.
He is now an environmental scientist. He
Wow.
switched so from 4 until 16, I'm going to be an architect. He started architecture his first year at university, went nah, and switched to biological sciences because of one teacher.
That's
That's the
amazing.
impact we have in terms of, you say to me, do I have people? Well, yes, I do, but this is an example where I've actually seen the impact from the other side as a parent. I've seen, wow, this
Yeah.
kid. My other son, who wants to be an actor, he bumped into this lovely lady who just said, just be yourself. And he's pursuing his dream. He's in Sydney at the moment pursuing his dream. Again,
Nice.
because of a teacher.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing those 2 stories, and thank you for the work you're doing for all the young people in your work, in your school, in the country, in the continent. Um,
It's my
what
staff that do the hard work, Ashanti.
Yeah.
I try and create the conditions, but teachers, I tip my hat to them every day in the classroom. It's hard work, and we've got a great crew here. They do a really fantastic job.
Yeah. Well, maybe as we close this, what would you say to an educator or another administrator, whichever level you want to give the words of encouragement to? You all are in the winters, literally the winter. It's summer here where I am, is
Mhm.
winter where you are. What words of encouragement? 'Cause now, for winter for you all, does that mean that you have 2 more semesters?
Yeah, we've got 2 semesters all up, but 4 terms.
Oh,
So
okay.
f so we have a bit of a summer goes through part of the way first term, and then we transition into autumn, winter, and then
Okay.
we come out of winter around October. So
Okay.
our middle 2 terms are the coldest months, and then our final term, we're switching back into in towards summer, where we sort of 38, 40 degrees it can climb up to some days.
Okay. So what words of encouragement do you have for educators who are in the middle of it right now? It's getting colder. Um, it's colder maybe of the soul, maybe colder in the
Yeah.
temperature. But what words of encouragement to stick with it this year? Stick it out. Get the help you need or find the support. What words of
Yeah.
encouragement do you have for an educator?
The first one is don't lose hope. understand that you are making a difference. And as hard as it is, just be consistent. Kids test boundaries because they want to know that the boundary exists, particularly in boys. Boys want to know there is a boundary because as a male myself, I will push and push and push until I find that boundary. And as a principal, I will dance around policy. So I'm always trying to find where that policy, how far that policy lets me go before I. So just be consistent, stick to the high ground, hold your morals, and you will have a huge impact on the kids in there. If you have your expectations there, regardless of what's going on, the kids are throwing chairs, just treat them the same every day. That's not allowed in my class, and understand that you're making a difference. Because it is, I do say to my staff, it is the hardest job in the world. It's one of those few jobs where if you're away, you actually have to prepare work for the person coming in. Like a policeman goes home, he doesn't go, oh, look, I need to show you how to use this, and he or she just goes home. The truck driver gets out of his truck. A teacher goes, here's my work and we take work home. It is the most selfless job in the world. But it makes a massive difference. And I know there are some dud ones out there, Ashanti. I'm not immune to the fact that there are teachers out there that should not be teachers. Like, they don't even like kids. Why are you a teacher? Go and look at rocks or something. But you never know how much a difference you make in a child's life by just being there every day. And again, I know a lot of the work you do is around boys. It's so hard as a teacher to have that boy who's the hardest work in your class. And you know what? He turns up every single day. He never misses a day. And that is the highest compliment a kid can give you. They never miss your class.
That's right.
So just understand that you make a difference just by the fact that you're being there. And enjoy what you do, because it is a genuine calling. Like you said at the start, you're not going to get rich from it. Unless you win lotto. But you can certainly make someone else rich from what you do.
Thank you. Thank you for what you're doing. Thanks for the young people you're going to serve this year and that you have in the past and in years to come. Are you working on any projects that you want people to know about? Are there any things that you're working on that you want people to check out? Is there
Rachel Lair, my associate principal, she does a lot of work with a organisation called ASL, which is similar to the US has got a ASCD, I think it is, and ASC, So ASL, Australian Council of Education, she does a lot of work in there. She writes a lot about the stuff we're talking about. So if anyone's, check out her. We've got some stuff too around consistency and pedagogy and those sorts of things, and mental health and the importance of post-residual. And I know this has been debated a lot at the moment. We call post-residual stress.
Okay.
And as a teacher, you have that. You're traumatized today, and it's just hard work. And 7 years down the track, you snap, and people go, "Oh, yeah, hang on a sec. That's been 7 years of having chairs thrown at them. I get it." But there's a lot of stuff out there, but not really. Not really. We're a school like any other. We just do our stuff. But some of Rachel's stuff's really good, so it might be worth having a look. There is what I will give a plug. There's a guy in New South, over in the eastern states. He's just written a book called "Not One More Teacher Lost." Brad Gaynor, and I'm reading it at the moment. That's all about teacher stress and the challenges that teachers face. And I know, compared to the US system, we've actually got it pretty good as teachers. I know a lot of your crew through the United States, I say United States, not America, through the United States are working two jobs because it's not the highest paid job, but we are certainly not in that situation.
Good.
But it is a stressful job. The demands on teachers is that. So I guess one thing I would ask every teacher out there is to make sure you take time for yourself, to smell the roses, sit on a beach and watch the sunset, have a glass of wine in the garden, and just remember to take care of yourself every now and then and have a breath for yourself, because it is a selfless job.
Dr. Boyd, Dr. Ray Boyd, it's so good to be with you this morning. And this morning, your time, Thank you for making time. Folks, Dr. Ray Boyd shared our masks here publicly with you. You don't have to share yours publicly. You can share yours anonymously at millionmask.org. Thank you for listening. Share this episode with an educator, a school leader, an educator who needs a good school leader. Share it with somebody who can benefit from this conversation. We'll see you next time. Take care, everybody. Bye now.